Listen how the time flies, we glide so imperfectly. I try to be the best that I can be and try to build a nest so I could sleep safely, finally get some rest. I lost my breath when I fell from the sky. The birds that gave wings to wind that never dies, leave a legacy. Be a better me, free the enemy, and try to let it be. With all of me that's on the beat, it's honesty that's on repeat it. All the G and EMC that's gonna be a murder of crows. I murder these flows like I throw a curveball right at the flight that I chose. But I'ma fly straight and migrate. This time makes the migraines in my brain so fly planes could glide under my weight. And I keep high with the mind to be on this flight till I see my dad again and I'm free. Free as a bird. Free as a bird. Free as the bird. Free as the bird. Free as the birds.
I wonder if I'd ever feel it again, the getting lost in the music like it was more than a friend. When the studio was next to the bed and the melody was playing with my heart beating stuck in my head. The cassette player battery's dead. Pump the pedals on the bicycle, the rhythm in that. Up on the telephone wires with the starlings and the streetcar tracks. I never thought I'd be making music in Halifax with the rhythm of a rebel. The attitude never changes. Never won the rebel over ordinary stasis. Place cards set at the table to say graces. Gormandize a memory making me miss faces. Turn around and look at myself for changes. Metropolis votary, really I'm rearranging. Head in the clouds and I'm wondering where the day went. Time flying by and I've got nothing but patience. Free as the birds. 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 Free as the birds.
We so perfectly rough, we know we can get stuck. We are so vulnerable to broken wings and leaving. But me, myself, and I will try to be the one to rise above. I can't even understand when they act like wings, but not enough.
Now, I got a little creature living in a little hole inside of my stomach and it wants me to panic and fold. Learning to love all of the heavy things I hold. It's unforgiving but liberating to bear the load. Bees working too hard, bears losing their homes. Now the birds let me see how everything grows. This isn't getting any easier. I don't want to be a member of the greedier. I'm a bar stool full with armchair politics. So much loss it's hard to focus on the positives. Take my temperature, there's something wrong with the thermometer. Get me off this road, I've forgotten how long it is. The higher I can go, the farther I can get away. I hope my feathers stick together for another day. Words lift off the paper, travel to center stage. But I'm still feeling the cold, there is no other way. I'm free as the birds. 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 I'm free as the birds.
You know I'm free, at least trying to be. Mine like the birds, no the worms don't see. I'm far from the dirt, but the earth is still me. I'm a whole lot of water, just a little salty. Pale like the moon, still I shine like the sun. I'm hot, then I'm cold, still the same conundrum. I'm God, then I'm Satan, then I'm human all in one. Said I fall, I get up, then I walk and then I run. Fly like I'm high, man, I'm over this summit. I try to right, I try to wrong, I got it stuck in my stomach. I hear this music in my head, still a struggle to hum it. I see the world and its hate, still I'm humble to love it. I see my faith and my pride in the side of this hell. A lot of y'all won't, guess a lot of y'all will. And I'll be up high doing circles in the sky. I'm free like the birds, guess you wanna know why. Free as the birds. 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 I'm free as the birds.
We so perfectly rough, we know we can get stuck. We are so vulnerable to broken wings and leaving.
Welcome to episode 6 of my MasterClass podcast. And now we're going to have a good friend tonight. Somebody have a tremendous passions of cooking. I met him only recently, a few months ago, at an event, thanks for Chef Alain himself. But we really hit it off. I really respect his passion of cooking. But without further ado, let's bring in Bob. Hey, Bob, what's up?
Hey, how you doing tonight?
Not too bad, not too bad. Well, it's about your story, and your cooking. I guess we always start talking about the drink that you're drinking tonight. We'd like to have a little alcohol going on. So I heard you're drinking some good stuff tonight. So can you tell everybody what you're drinking?
Yeah, I'm a huge bourbon drinker. Kentucky straight bourbon. Tonight's a little old Buffalo Trace. Little old-fashioned Buffalo Trace.
Where's the bottle? Where's the bottle? Oh, look at that.
Yeah, that's the best. That's some of the best stuff there. So.
And I'm stubborn. A little local vodka soda. If anyone follow us, our Instagram, who would know that I want to do local, and that's what I'm drinking tonight. So just pour it. Thanks for doing this tonight, Bob. Cheers.
Like I said to you before, I would, when you reached out to me, the story. Can we get to tell that story? Tell that story first. I think.
Well,
you touched on it. We met at a. We'll talk about in a little bit how we met.
Okay, sure.
And then, I seen you on Facebook. I sent him a friend request, thinking, yeah, he doesn't know who I am. It'll never happen. Or whatever. He's too busy. He's a big time chef. He's never gonna,
No, I'm not.
And then, it was a Saturday. Because remember Saturday night, whatever I made on that Saturday night, you liked the post, and I was like running around the house showing everybody that Chef Ivan Chan loved what liked what I made. And then the next morning, I get up and you had this. You texted me on Messenger and asked me about doing this podcast, and I remember saying to you, I'm not a professional chef, and you said you knew who I was, and looked at the lineup you had. So, it's a pretty impressive lineup you have on your show. So,
more to come.
Weird to be on this show for what I do. So,
well, no, I mean, I want to do this podcast. Is more pretty much the idea is want to do a little documentary about friends I know, people I know, about their passion about food. It doesn't have to be a celebrity chefs. Like we have like bloggers, we have influencers. I mean, like we have some pretty big names. I mean, Lauren and Jamie, some of my really good friends. But hey, you know what? It's about the passion of food. So, Bob, let's tell everybody watching that. How do you start love cooking?
How did I start love cooking? Well, I always liked it. I remember when I was younger, my mom would let me use the stove at a younger age. And remember I wasn't making anything spectacular, obviously, but just having that independence of being able to cook for yourself was kind of neat at a younger age, right? And then, it never really took into the form it is now. So there's a friend of mine, I think he might be on listening tonight. His name is Bob as well. Yeah, we're friends. His wife and my wife work together. And we're at their place one night. They invited us down for supper. And he introduced me to the green egg. So he was making something on the green egg. It was chicken wings, actually. And I just remember saying to my wife, I want one of those green eggs. Because I think that sounded neat. I love the flavor. And so we went out the next week, bought a green egg. And then from there, it was lights out. I just dove into that culture of smoking and barbecuing. And then it just all evolved from there, But growing up, watching my mom cook, and she was a great cook. She's
the best type.
The best. I'm telling you, we had this conversation. We had this conversation a few weeks ago, and the folks from that era that could they could walk into any pantry, any
Yep.
cupboard, and just take things off a shelf and make something taste amazing. And that's the way I grew up. It wasn't a whole lot of a whole lot of stuff, but it was a lot of it when it was on the plate, and it always tasted.
Mhm.
I'd say my mom probably where the passion started from for sure, and then it grew, as I got going on my own.
It's always about the family thing, like what you brought up with, the flavor you brought up with. I mean, it's kind of funny, like some of my friends know my mom had been injured in the past 2 weeks, and I've been cooking supper, and trust me, I'm so nervous every time I cook supper. Like it's kind of like, would I live up to it? It's just something that even as for somebody like me, I was like, oh, please, mom and dad, don't complain. It's not good enough. Like customers like, yeah, I know what I need to do, but it's kind of like, oh, mom, dad ain't eating it. It just scare you.
A
And
little stressful the family is for some
it
reason.
is, it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
I called this episode "Executive in the Outback." So, Bob, how do you start in the automotive industry and now GM of three major brand name? How?
Wow.
Tell us the story.
Tell us the story. Okay. Well, actually, I grew up in the automotive. My dad was always worked in a car dealership. He used to take me. This is going back in the '70s. He'd take me with him to the dealership. He was a service manager. He let me just go in the shop. I don't, this day and age, he probably it wouldn't be good for a parent if you just let a kid run loose in a garage. But he let me loose in there. And I don't know what it was about that. And I just, being in that shop and seeing things taken apart, and it really always piqued my curiosity of things. And being around it, all my life before I got into it professionally, it just seemed like a natural progression. It's what you knew. It felt comfortable. It was
It's a
it was
natural
very
thing.
easy, yeah, very natural and easy transition to go to it. And then and that's how it was. I started my trade in the engine shop, building engines, Engine Tech 2000 back in Glasgow in Nova Scotia, and that's where I became an apprentice, and I just went from there. And I think that's what I like about the relationship between cooking and that for me is when I was building engines, everything's all apart on the floor or on the bench, I should say, and you put it
Hmm.
together, and you put it all together, and then that satisfaction when you hit the key and the starts right up, flashes right up, and the engine runs. You just had a part, an hour ago it was in pieces, now it's something. That's the same adrenaline rush I get when you cook. You get the ingredients, you set your mise en place, and it's all set up, and you look at these ingredients, and then you put it all together, and then when you serve it, put it on the plate, and there's smiles, and the people are eating it. That's the same. It's the same relation to me, I think, and that's why the transition between the two for me is why the passions, I should say, between the two are the way they are.
Well, so you are not one of those pretty boys, right? Like you like to get your hands dirty, right? I don't
No,
know, like
definitely can
general
give me a
manager,
pretty boy.
you always look at you guys like, oh yeah, one of those pretty boys there. They just point fingers and order people to do things, but I
No,
guess you're not one of them.
no, I was a tech for 20 some years before I got into the management side of it. Then it
Uh-huh.
was a body shop. Actually, it was the first management job I had at a dealership,
Hmm.
I knew nothing about auto body. I mean, I never painted a car, and but got to learn it pretty quick. And then it just went from there. Did body shop manager, sorry, service manager, now general manager, and working for
Okay.
the Steel Auto Group.
Well, I mean, sorry, Matt, if you're watching, right? No pun intended, but I guess Bob would like to get his hair dirty. I don't know about you, but well, I'll ask you next time, buddy. And anyway, so see how we met. I know what you do. I met you through Chapelan, and I know you're general manager of one of the Subaru dealership in Mountain. And then suddenly the friend request came just to we everything. And then as after I added you, that night I was like, you should thank Chevrolet because he had been telling me how passionate you are with cooking. So I was like, yeah, let's see. He added me on Facebook. Let's see how passionate he is. So I went through some of your stuff and how often you post. And here comes the next questions. I mean, you're managing 3 dealerships. How the heck you found time doing all those cooking like so frequently? You posting like every second day. Like, I mean, it's not easy to plan a meal. It's not like, you just randomly make it. You have to buy ingredients and everything. You planning all that. I mean, there's a lot of work involved. But that's one thing amazed me when I start looking about your content. It's like how on earth you manage 3 car dealerships and and then you have all those time, do all those cooking and all those planning.
Well, that's the key to it, though. Where you just answer the question. It is planning. That's the most frequent question I get asked all the time. When I was away this week in Halifax, uh, ran into some old friends from Subaru, and they were asking the same thing. Everywhere I go, it's the same question. Well, how do you find the time? Usually, it's pretty simple to me. It's Saturdays. When everything kind of calms down on a Saturday evening. I'll think about the week coming up, and I usually want to try different things. Every week is different. Every week is different. Every week is different. Just because I'm very curious about one, I want to try so many different meals or dishes as much as I can. So Saturdays, I sit and look at the week, and I usually have a little bit of a game plan how I want to do it. There's usually got to be some pasta in there 'cause I love pasta. Pasta is one of my favorite things. There's got to be seafood in there somewhere. Uh, when my daughters are in school, Tuesday was tutoring day. So Tuesday had to be a fast, whatever it is, has to be fast. Friday's got to be fun because it's Friday, and the week and Sunday has got to be the bigger meal, the sit down Sunday meal, and that's kind of the outline I use every time I go to set up for the week. And I just fill in the blanks and what do we want to do and try something new, and that's it. Then Sunday's the day I go get all the ingredients. I don't cost. It's a long process. It's not quick. It takes me the whole Sunday to do everything, to get the ingredients and go to different places that have it. And yeah,
That that pretty much the initial impressions, right? I mean, your executive is like, okay, he must be one of those pretty boys that's, you know, and just do his stuff while at work, man. Like, like this. That was the first impression without getting to know you, and then of course we get to talking, and I realize how busy you are. But I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna bring Matt up again. I don't really see him do nothing in the dealership every time I see him. Sorry, Matt, I had to. Uh,
look, I have to defend Matt. He's a buddy of mine. So there are days,
I don't see it. Trust me. I just have to pick on him.
there's days where it's really, it ebbs and flows, right? It's like any
I know.
business, right? So it's
Jeez,
one day you
why are
can
you
be like,
defending him? I thought we were supposed to throw him under the bus today.
I know he's one of the three musketeers. Me, him, and the GM
Uh-huh.
and Charlottetown Patch.
Trust me.
We're
I
the
don't know how she deal with you two. She seems to be such a sweetheart, and Jesus, like dealing with you and Matt.
She's got to
I
deal
don't
with this
envy her.
week. We're going golfing over there this week too, so she's got to put up with us this week at a golf tournament. So
Uh-oh.
yeah, that could be rough.
Outback Man Grill.
Outback,
How does that man come about, like with that name? Like just because Subaru or?
Yes, yeah. Well, of course, there's a little bit of the Subaru part to it. So originally, the very conception of Outback Man was I love to hike. I love to be in the woods. I love the outdoors, and it was going to be just built off of that, and just weekend adventures that I would have with my wife and I when we would go out hiking. And I don't know where the crossroad came, where between the love of cooking got in on this and kind of bumped the hiking out of the way,
Mm-hmm.
even though we still hike and do our thing. There's a show on TV. I don't, it's in reruns now. It was Last Man Standing, and Tim
Okay.
Allen is the star of the show. And Uh, on there they have he was outdoor man, and
Oh,
and then one of the years of the show they have they open up a restaurant inside of Outdoor Man, and then it just kind of hit me where it was I love to cook Outback, Subaru,
uh-huh,
Outback Man Grill, and then it just kind of
uh-huh.
took off from there. Yeah, that's kind of where I get my persona from.
Oh, yeah.
But to
He's
thank
a
Tim Allen,
wrestling
I guess.
fan too, right? So yeah, like he just needs his persona. But anyway, so you like cooking. So what is your favorite ingredients and cooking tools you like to use in your kitchen? Other than
Um,
the green egg.
well, other than the green egg, ingredient wise, like I said, I'm a huge pasta fan. I could eat pasta 3 meals a day, every day of the week. I don't know what it is. Uh, even this year, I get to make my own pasta. So I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
say my pasta machine, my pasta machine is one of my
Mm-hmm.
favorite tools to use because I learned how to make it this year. Very gratifying to make it yourself and not take it out of a box or go in a shop and to do it yourself and then
Mm-hmm.
make it. It turns out even ravioli, like I made ravioli, which I thought was difficult, which I guess it is. And then to put it together, and I don't know, that was probably my favorite tool right now is that. Uh, Ingredients, man. I mean, I'm thinking like, you know what? Here's it's
Something I'm
ingredient.
gonna pick on you about. Yeah, go ahead. Favorite ingredients. You know what I'm gonna say.
No, I wasn't going to use that as my favorite ingredient. You know what? My favorite ingredients, and it's because of the smell. You know what? Nothing smells better cooking
Mm-hmm.
than you have some garlic and an onion, and starting off on any of those basic dishes that have that with olive oil in a pan.
Mm-hmm.
I every time I smell that, it takes me right back to my childhood, growing up.
It's
That
that garlic.
smell. Oh man,
It's
I
that garlic. Yeah.
there's no better smell in the world than that.
Mm.
There should be a cologne, but who should be able to put that on and wear it around? I just there's something about it that just gets me going and gets me fired up when I smell that, and I want to just get in and get cooking when I smell that smell. I know what you want. I know I know what you want to say, and you know what I'm hoping you're going to bring that up tonight so I can get a chance to defend myself.
Well, I can tell you right now, if I'm looking at your content, I can tell you right now, I see your favorite ingredients. Definitely tomato.
Tomato, oh yeah, definitely, definitely. Tomatoes are in a lot of. I think because it's pasta and there's tomatoes go with everything. Even tonight when I made the pasta dish I made tonight for supper, there's tomatoes and tomatoes. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why. You're right though. You're right. I don't know why I gravitate to those. I think it was even the first ingredient I picked an event that we were at.
Hmm.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, tomatoes.
You love your
I
tomatoes.
do love my
Hey, it's
tomatoes.
nothing wrong with it. I love eating tomatoes. Like, I have nothing against it, but we'll leave the questions after. Okay, so I spent
I thought
some
it was soy
time.
sauce. You thought you were telling my favorite ingredient was soy sauce.
Well, you really want to bring that up? All right, I'll bring that up.
Sure. Let's clear the air on
So,
the soy sauce.
so I been talking to Bob quite a bit. We had some really long phone calls about food and cooking. And how would I put it thinking up? Okay, wait a second. Let me gather their thoughts. So I've been telling Bob he always make the picture with the recipe book. And we met at the black box and all that, and I said, Bob, you know what? Think out of the box. You want to win a black box competitions, drop your tomato and your recipe. Start training yourself, adapt to whatever is in front of you, and start cooking. And you know what? He tried to do Chinese food. And somehow, some way, I kind of give him tips on a couple things, what the other components he was making. It was better than I expected. I actually changed the recipe after you told me what you were using. I think you text me the ingredients. I was like, no, Bob, don't use this, don't use that. And
Yeah.
then I wasn't aware of he was gonna make a damn fried rice. And then the picture come out. I'll tell you right now, he sent me through the roof because I said so many times how much that I hate those fake fried rice with all those damn dark soy sauce over the rice. To me, it's a cover up because if you know how to do it right and you flavor right, you don't need those things. And and you know what? He come up with a plate, decently looking, with some fried rice covered with dark soy sauce. My God. I don't comment on people's cooking. And Bob, I can tell you right now, you were the first that
Good.
I comment on people's cooking. I literally, if you guys go look at his post on Instagram, I said, do not use those dark soy sauce on fried rice ever, please. I did comment, and this is the first time in my career that I actually go and comment on somebody's cooking. I was that pissed. Like,
You were. You were. You were.
and
You were.
and all right, how are you gonna defend yourself now then?
There's no real big defense. You know, I like salty. I like food salty a little bit, and I like soy sauce is salty, and it was for me, and I made it that way for myself. That's my only defense. I know I'll never use it again, and you did help me. I will say, look, outside the soy sauce, and I it kind of, I felt like Sensei and the student kind of got, crisscross there because you did help me out in a few dishes that turned out really good. The ribs that I made, and you told me what to do there and what to add, and you introduced me to miso paste and some other stuff, and I'm telling you, it was, and I appreciate that. I just just went a little overboard in the soy sauce, and that was my bad. So yeah,
Nah, it's all right. Hey, you do whatever you want. It just me. It was kind of like Bob. Like I don't know. It just, would just bother me. It's just one
never
of
do
those
again. I
things.
know that.
Yeah, like I was not happy when I saw that. I was like, my God, I spent all those time showing you what to do, and then you come up with that rice. It's like, ugh. But anyway, so talk about all those things that you're doing every day, like all those posts, all those great looking food.
Hmm.
So I actually spent some time yesterday go through every single Instagram post you
Oh,
have,
geez.
and I found one plate that I was like, yeah, like anything I would like to eat. And people who knows me know how nasty picky I am. And I was like, I want to see if anything I want to eat. And this is what I found.
Oh boy, I'm scared to see what it would be.
You see it?
No, I can't see it.
You should. It's a cast iron steak with the blue cheese.
Ah, okay, okay.
I I don't I'm a blue cheese eater. I was
Okay.
like, my God, like that is gutsy move because not everybody like that strong flavor.
It
And then
goes so
you
well together with
and
it.
then you have the mushroom there and you have the stuffed mushroom there and all that. And can you tell me why that you make that dish that I would eat?
That you would eat. Wow, I'm
I would.
impressed.
I would definitely eat it. If you put that in front of me, I would eat that.
Okay, so steak for me, outside of being on the green egg or on a barbecue, cooking it in a cast iron skillet to me was a challenge. I always thought that I tried it before, and I always ruined it. And I think I don't know why. Uh, and the blue cheese, I don't know. I was just thinking about what would go. So steak by itself is steak by itself, right?
Hmm.
If it's good, I mean, you can always add a little. But I wanted something that night that was gonna go over the top. If I get the steak right in the way I wanted it in the cast iron pan, I wanted something to go with it that I thought would just be a little bit over the top. And the blue cheese. I like blue cheese. I like blue
I
cheese
do.
is great. There's a I don't know what the word is, tanginess or something with the blue cheese. That I thought with the steak, with this simple seasoning on the steak would be great. And when it gets when it melts and goes over the gets warm and is on the meat.
Hmm.
That's why. And the stuffed mushrooms, I just always wanted to make stuffed mushrooms. It's just one of those things that I've seen and I think it was spinach. And was there a little bit of a ricotta cheese? Maybe was it? And spinach went in that, if I remember correctly. That's going way back, man. You went way back to look at pictures.
Okay, I'm gonna pick on you again.
Okay, sure.
See, Bob, he's game.
Okay,
Um,
why not?
to me, how do I
Mhm.
put it? I hate people when they say I like food salty.
Yeah.
It's not salty. I believe 90% of the general public would not able to identify what salty or a strong bold flavor. And I hate like I don't even leave shaker on the table for customer anymore because I just hate the fact that he comes to dish, pick up the salt, and here we go. You, if there's enough flavor on whatever they're eating, the salt should not be eaten like needed. Salty and strong flavor is a really distinctive thing that people should learn and people should know. So work on that.
All
Yeah,
right. Well,
Bob's not too happy now. I'm picking on him, man. That's
no,
all
no,
right.
no, 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 no. I'm good. Um, I hear it from my wife all the time
Mm-hmm.
because it's one thing I had to learn with cooking because when I would eat myself, salt was one of those things. So when I'm cooking now, I had to really, really, really train myself to do it not for me if I'm doing it for more outside, more people, and
Mm-hmm.
train myself not to salt it. We'll say, quote unquote,
Mm-hmm.
uh, like I would if it was for me, and back off on it a bit. And I've been doing really well at that, according to my wife, anyway.
Salt, in a sense, this is my theory. Of course, I not 100% right. Salt supposed to be enhancer to enrich the flavor and enhance the flavor, not a dominant flavor. Anyone should be looking at to eat that. That I don't know. That's being really nitpicking about cooking on my theory.
Mm.
But no, from looking at your content and stuff, but you doing the right thing. I mean, your wife seems to be a good judgment on the food because he have a story that he told me that's something that I show Bob how to do, something that his wife used to say no to, and she was eating it.
Yeah.
So can you make my head a little bigger now, Bob? Tell them about this story.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
I know.
sure. Pork belly. So I, pork belly to me. This is let's go back a little bit before this here. So pork belly, I never really realized, like in this cooking thing, that pork belly would be uh, served the way it can be served. Like I
Mm-hmm.
see on one of your dishes there, and I always picture pork belly always being throw in the green egg, smoke it, and
Mm-hmm.
making burnt ends out of it and stuff like that. The typical, And then I got doing getting this cooking thing a little more and seeing what you can do with pork belly. So I really want to do a pork belly, and so I was talking to Ivan about it, and he kind of gave me some tips on how to do it, and it made so much sense. I never thought of it that way, but when we talked about it and how we did it, and like my wife would never eat pork belly because of 99% of it
Fat.
is exactly the fat, right? That's all you see when you look at pork belly, right? But when I made it the way you and I talked about making it that night, she actually ate it, and because she would never touch it before, wouldn't even wasn't even wouldn't even entertain the idea of eating pork belly.
That's
Um,
important to make the wife happy, buddy.
well, that's true. That is true. That is true.
So,
So
keep going.
no, no,
Sorry.
go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
No, 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 no. Go ahead.
I
So your wife's still eating it? Like, did she say if you make it again, she'll eat it?
oh yeah, oh yeah.
Good.
Yeah, yeah.
Good.
It was it was a long process for sure.
It
Like
is.
compared to what what I was used to. But it seems like in a lot of you know,
You cook it 4 times, guys.
4 times, yes, and not yes, it's 4 times. It's but well worth it. Well worth it at the end. It's like everything else. So, it may take time, but it's well worth it.
So we're gonna jump back in time now.
Okay, here we
Bob
go.
didn't know that I was gonna do this. Trust me, guys, it's not scripted. Okay, I've been preparing this for a week, and this is back to how we met. And I'm gonna change the screen.
Oh, jeez.
We will be watching some clip
No.
the day we met, and I want Bob to tell everybody what he was thinking in his mind
Oh, jeez.
when that's happened. All right, there is 3 different clips we'll be showing tonight, and I will be okay. I'm gonna bring you the first one.
Hi, I'm Patsy Tremblett. I'm the general manager at Subaru of Charlottetown.
She's the nice
I'm
one.
Brian Yunker, Finance and Insurance Manager at Subaru in Charlottetown.
I am so nervous about this
Trust me, guys.
competition.
Bob
I really
didn't
only
know I was
cook
gonna do
for
this
my
to him
family
tonight.
in my kitchen, and that is it.
I don't cook very often, a little bit at home. I enjoy it. Can't say I'm very good at it. And
I feel bad for her
I'm feeling
dealing with you
excited.
and Matt. I'm serious.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Matt
Here it
Wolniff,
is.
General
There's the
Manager
ringer.
at Subaru.
My name's John Owen. I've been cooking for probably around 7 years. I used to work at El Mercado in Bedford.
Super excited about this competition.
Did everybody
I
catch that?
really hope
Everybody
that
catch that?
Bob's team wins because we're going out afterwards, and I want to make sure that he's in a good mood.
This is what Matt said.
All right, I'm Bob Withers, General Manager at Subaru of Moncton.
I'm Krista Delaney. I'm marketing with Bob at Subaru of Moncton.
They're gunning for me today. These guys don't stand a chance. I'm telling you, Matt tried to take in his secret weapon. I got my secret weapon right here. I've got the best sous chef in New Brunswick right here.
So, what were you thinking, man, before we even started? Like, Matt is already saying, oh, man, I hope Bob win because he's going to be upset if he doesn't.
What was I thinking?
Yeah.
Well, you're in that competition, man. You got to throw a little trash talk around, get everybody, trying to use the intimidation factor, trying to. But Matt came with a professional sous chef. I mean,
Yes. But he used to be a chef, so he didn't really, did anything wrong. That is one of his.
No, that was the rules. The rules were the rules. He followed the rules to a T. I can't say anything there. So.
Yeah, Matt kind of. I don't know. I don't know if Matt's watching. He probably mad at me now. So no, I'll keep my mouth shut on that.
That was a.
You have a disadvantage, okay? I give you that, Bob. You have a disadvantage because he have a professional chef by his side. I'll give you that.
Yeah, he did. He did. But look, it was the rules. Like I would have done the same thing if I would have had a professional sous chef on, at my store. He would have been there with me. And no, look, you know what? If it was the best thing I've ever been a part of. It was the most intense 45 minutes of my life. I never felt that pressure. Like I said, I run 3 dealerships.
Yep.
That was, do you think that's pressure? When I was, just doing this event, and when he said let's go, it was like, holy cow, this was something, and I never thought it would be the way it was. And you're going to show more. That's awesome.
This is the second out of the 3 clip that we'll be doing, okay?
No good.
This is the second one. I want to hear you, the reaction going through in your head when this happened.
Okay.
As they work on their dish, I might throw a curveball at them.
No.
I have a trick up my sleeve.
So, up to this point,
given one
I already don't
fourth
like
ingredient, but here's the curveball.
The curveball, guys.
Mountain Team, Charlottetown, you're inherited a bag of Fruit Loops.
Fruit Loops, guys, in a black box.
So you want my you want my true?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So at this point in the competition, I thought I was cooking along pretty good, right?
Mhm.
I wasn't paying attention to what Matt was doing. Wasn't paying attention to what Patsy was doing.
You shouldn't be. Yep. No,
I
you're
was
doing the
just
right thing.
concentrating on what we were doing at the time, Krista and I. And I thought we were doing really well. And I got to be honest, this is what honestly went through my mind when he threw the Fruit Loops at us. I'm like, there is no way. And I didn't understand the competition. That was the thing.
Mm-hmm.
You want me? I just made this beautiful meal. What I thought was a beautiful meal, and you want me to ruin it with Fruit Loops? Like that's ruin it with some Fruit Loops. Like come on, like Toucan Sam. Like come on, like you can't do this. So I wasn't. It was I made a decision right there that I wasn't like, what are we gonna do? I was already ahead of them cooking. My meal was just done, and I was ready to plate my meal. And you throw in the Fruit Loops. And I'm like, well, number one, I'm too far gone, I think, in where I was in the process to incorporate them. Like, I mean, okay, just thinking about it. Now thinking about it. Now, come on. Like, you just made a beautiful, we had tenderloin steak, right? And Fruit Loops. I'm like, there ain't no way I'm going to put Fruit Loops anywhere near the steak or this other stuff. It was just, it was just, so I'm like, well, I was under the impression they had to be on the plate. I didn't realize that they had to be incorporated into the meal. So I just used it as a garnish, and I think I made it into like this cool little pyramid that I made off to the side. And I remember when you guys were asking me about it, I said it represented the strength of the three stores is what that pyramid represented of our friendship between Matt and I and Patsy. I was going to win some extra points there for that, but obviously you guys.
I heard you saying that too. Yeah, I was one of the judges, guys. By the way, I was there the whole time. So
the Fruit Loop thing.
I have to say that is the beauty of black box competitions.
They're beautiful.
You never know what they'll throw at you, and you have an icon like Chef Alain there to host that competitions. I mean, you guys should be grateful that he get involved with you guys, in my opinion. Like, he's one of my best friends. Like, he is one of the most humble and best person in the industry I know. And my God, and I can tell you right now, if I was in that competition and he threw me that Fruit Loops, I probably threw it back at him.
I thought about it, but you're right. Number one, the Subaru partnership that we have with Subaru and Chef Alain is amazing.
Yes,
met him.
is.
It was a year ago. Actually, it'd be about a year ago in June. Yeah, that I met Alain. We did our first because we do some shows with him on when he used to do his live shows. What a great guy! I mean,
He is.
and he's helped me like yourself. I feel so blessed and privileged to be just a home cook chef. But I have the ability to dial up two of the best chefs in the Maritimes.
Oh, I'm not.
And
Don't throw me out there, man. No.
Come on now, don't be like that. And to get pointers and to help, to help a fellow along on how to cook a dish better, or to give you insight or guidance or coaching. But yeah, when he when he took those Fruit Loops. Well, no, first of all, go back to that. I remember when he first. I think he brought out like the tenderloin, which I was like, happy about.
Yep.
But then he brought out beets, and I despise beets. It's like dirt. It's like eating dirt.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that was a curve right before the curve for me.
Yeah.
Like, how am I going to take beets, which I do not like? I've never cooked, never made in a dish before.
Mm-hmm.
And what do I do with these things? So that was the first curveball I had, but I wasn't even the Fruit Loops. I mean, come on. Like, I won't even look at them. I'll look the other way going down the grocery aisle now. I wouldn't even look at Fruit Loops. Because I know that's why the outcome happened on that day was because I didn't incorporate them in the meal. So, yeah.
All right. Here comes the third clip.
Oh, third clip. Jeez. Okay.
You'll see Bob building that pyramid.
You don't show that, do you? Oh my god.
The last 30 seconds. Look at him. He's building that pyramid so hard, guys. He's working on it.
That's how determined I was not to put
Look
that
at his
in
face.
my
He
book.
was so serious. You know, and that's kind of also see your passion about cooking. All those beaks in those salad. I have to say, free general manager, or other than Matt, you know, and I kudos to you guys. It's not easy to actually go through that. That's all those plates. Oh, look at that pyramid right there, guys. And then that's what Halifax represent.
Yeah.
And then talk about creativity. That is Fruit Loops in the scramble egg, guys. That is creativity. So let's talk about the moment, the day we met. Was in the competitions.
Yep.
I don't want to know the outcome because whoever won is not even relevant at this point. You know, wow, you know, it is a disadvantage for you, but Matt did not, you know, cross any rules. He did follow the rules, and yes, obviously he won.
Yep.
What did you get out of it, Bob?
Well, it's funny you say that because a lot of people thought because, you know, Patsy and Matt don't do what I do, like we talked about, the cooking like that. So everybody was
most certainly
had the anticipation I was going to win this hands down, and I never went into it with that attitude because, you know, I don't know why I just didn't. It stung for probably 5 minutes. I'll admit that when, you know, I finished third, I did sting. I will say it did sting for 5 minutes. It was, but you know what? I thought about what we did that day. The three of us, you know, the Three Musketeers, as we call ourselves. We had a great day. We had some fun. It was, you know, but you know, take myself outside of that, and then I thought, you know what? I learned a lot. I learned a lot from this competition.
Good.
Yes, you know what? The Fruit Loop thing and all that stuff. I mean, it doesn't happen at home. No one's going to throw me a bag of Fruit Loops when I'm making something and say, "Hey, put this in. Hey, Dad, put this in what you're making tonight." That wasn't the point. The point was, like you said, is in a when you guys are doing your thing at a restaurant, things come up and things happen, and you've got to be able to, you know, overcome that obstacle, whatever it may be, Fruit Loops or whatever. Some person has an allergy, and you got to change.
It's a process.
You got to change it, but you still got to stay true to the dish, right?
Yep.
So, you know, I looked at it and I'm like, you know what? I had so much fun. It was intense. It was fun, but it's not in me to pack up and say, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not going to cook. This is it. I'm like Matt said in his thing. He thought that I was going to be. He thought because we were going out that night, we were going to, you know, be together for a couple of days. Him and I and Patsy knew there was a Subaru meeting there. They thought that I was going to be upset, and I wasn't. I went the other way because I use it as fuel to ignite that passion even deeper inside myself. To say, okay, what do I need to do? You know, I'm the one of the three of us that has that burns pretty deep, right? And what do I need to do to be better? You know, not that I want to go, because you and I talked about competition. Why does it always have to be a competition?
Yep. You brought that up with me before.
I want to go and compete in competitions. I just want to be better, learn from the mistakes I made there, and just be better. And I think the first thing I did, that was on a Thursday or Friday. We did that. I think on Monday, I joined Chef Alain's brigade, which, you know, which is a great. If you really want to, if you're a home cook, I highly recommend that you look into that if that's for you.
Learn from the best.
And yeah, And just that was number one thing I did. And then it was, okay, listening to what the advice you gave me and Al gave me, you know, little bit of, you don't have to follow a recipe. Start putting your he's famous for saying cook from the heart, right? So
It is.
and that's basically what he's saying there. I mean, if I feel like this dish is that, I won't put it, and just start experimenting a little more, and not be afraid. Like I would be afraid, like I mentioned earlier with the pasta thing. I never would have before that class. No, sorry, before that competition, I never would have thought of making homemade pasta. Never would have thought of it. Would have been like, no, that's way too above me. I can't do that. That's for professionals. But after that competition, it was like it was certainly a game changer for me and a gear shift for me to throw the automotive stuff in there. A little gear shift for me to say, I want to be better, and what do I need to do? Don't be scared to try something. If it doesn't turn out, hey, you'll learn from it, right?
It's one of the main thing to me about cooking is you and me have a really long conversation one night. I think we were on the phone for like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And you asked me why I have to be always competition. It's not against everybody. It's against yourself. It's about proving yourself and get better. Really kudos to you for the competitions because I didn't really know you then. And everybody seems to tell me, oh yeah, Bob would be all pissed off, like, and you lose. I mean, how can you be happy when you lose, like, to be fair? But I really think you really get a lot of positive out of it. You have been talking to me about how motivated you are to get better, and you even tell me you want to try to make ramen now after you listen to Jamie. That is gonna be a fun ride. Hey,
I wouldn't be scared to attempt it. I don't know how it would work, how it would turn out, but
see, attempting is one thing, but that's what I do all the time, right? I mean, I am looking at the tasting menu on the 19th that you're supposed to be there.
Yes.
I am attempting a couple of things that I haven't done before. Like, I actually just told my head waitress the other night, I said, hey, you in for a treat the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks because I will be testing a lot of stuff at the restaurant and it's going to be a lot of fun stuff that I'll be playing with. So you look at me and say, chef, that's perfect. But that's what we do. And that's why I use Eric's song, The Bird, as our theme song right now before the show and after the show, because I really truly believe a good chef should be a bird with no legs. We just keep flying, and you shouldn't stop. You're supposed to be improved constantly, and that's part of your journey.
Yeah.
If you're passionate enough to do what you do, that should be what you enjoyed. And that what you drive, like that what drives you is get better. And so we already went through all that. So Bob, what is the plan for the next Black Box?
Is it is there going to be one? Is my question. I have to
That's something you have to ask Chevrolet. Chef, if you're watching, give
yes,
us a comment. But
he has the key to that box. I didn't know if I was going to do another one but now, no, I'd be all over that now. I would. I'm not going to back down from another challenge.
Good.
Like that for sure. No, I would do it. I think they should change it up a little bit. Make it a little more interesting. Take no Fruit Loops, please. Or soy sauce apparently. So neither one of those ingredients are allowed in the competition. But look, you know what? It was like I said. For me, it was a graduating step for me. If I would have won it, let's just say I would have won for.
Come on, Bob. Fruit Loop is not that bad. Imagine he just give you a big box of plain all brand. What are you going to do with it?
All brand. Okay, imagine now. So you're in your restaurant, right? And you're making that I love your lobster dish because I was challenged by one of my staff members to make that. But
You haven't shown up to learn it yet, and that's your issues.
so you're making that, and then somebody comes in and says, "Well, no, now that customer wants Fruit Loops added to it." What will go through your mind? You'd be like, "What? I mean, no way!" Right? I know this will go through your mind. That's what through my mind, and it was like, "There's no way I'm putting Fruit Loops." Anyway, we kicked that poor horse to death.
Remember that episode between me and Jamie, where we used to work in the learning kitchen? It's a black box every effing day. Trust me, I'll make it happen. That's one thing about me. Throw something at me, I'll make it happen. I'll create it. But that's the attitude that you need to improve. I don't care. Trust me, since that day, Chef Alain may hear right now, I have been thinking about implementing Fruit Loops in everything I cooked. Swear to God, that's the hard truth. I was like, yeah, if I get some Fruit Loops, what do I do?
I think Matt's team, they put them in, made it a vinaigrette for the dressing. What a great, it was perfect. I mean, it was the right thing to do.
It was a perfect idea.
Yeah, it was the right thing to do. And
but I think Betsy's idea is the best, though.
In the omelet? Or the eggs? Or, yeah.
Yep. It was challenging, but it's hard to put that sweetness in with egg. See, I would have made a French toast. Add the sweetness to it.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Right? So you always think about the flavor. What are you adding in there with the Fruit Loops? You get a little texture, and I would even crumble it up to make a crust, some kind of sweet crust with it. Have you thought of that? Right? So that's not being fair to you, Bob, but this is my brain, and it's just how I operate. But trust me, I would have hated to get that bag of Fruit Loops in my hand, man. I would have really hated. But well, I mean, I really like the fact that you seem to really get a lot positive out of the losing effort, and if Matt and Brad is watching, I think I told them that I will help him as much as I can in the next competitions. And I'm going to give you guys a run for your money. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting. See, James, you're right. That's another chef talking. Fruit Loops, add milk, French toast. Boom, right there.
Yeah.
Right? That's sweetness. That's another great mind, like, James, and he worked at Learning Kitchen too before, so he used to those kind of things. Like it's something I've been telling you, Bob. Like you need to train your brain how to react when you want to eat black box. But no, I really kudos to all those effort that you're trying to learn and all those things you have been trying to do. It's been great. So after the black box, okay, no more clip now. Don't worry. And we are gonna talk about I know you cook with Chef Alain, and other than me or Chef Alain, any other chef that you know that you would like to learn from or maybe do a dinner with?
That I know? I don't know too many chefs, to be honest with you. You're the two that I don't really know.
Any person?
Well, there's a lot of them I'd like to talk to, like Myron Mixon, who does a lot of pit barbecuing in the U.S. Big guy down there that does a lot of. He roasts the whole pigs, and I love to chat. I don't want to cook with him per se, but I certainly love to, bend his ear for a bit. Or Chuck Hughes, who does some really great things. I like his. But if I had to pick a person I want to cook with.
Locally, maybe. Maybe from locally?
Like I said, I don't know. My mom would be one. My first pick would be my mother.
Of course.
Before she passed away in 2018. And, I think that's one thing. Yes, that'd be number one. If I could pick one person right today, that would be the
Mm-hmm.
person I would pick to cook with or for. I guess
Okay.
or
Fair enough.
she was like I said, I think she was the main inspiration behind my passion for food, um, and not being scared to. She was always one that would always. She was definitely would have been one. Like we talked about this before. I would never want to go up against anybody from that era in a black box competition. They could
It
probably
is
those fruit
scary.
make it, and because she was
Yep.
always doing that, throwing things
Yep.
together and always experimenting.
Because there's
So
not so much option back in those days.
you're right. You're right. And there's some recipes my sister emailed me yesterday or the day before she used to make that I'm going to try. And stay tuned. I'll post those once I put maybe my twist on it or whatever. A few of them there that bring me back to my childhood that she used to make. My sister had the recipe; she sent them to me, so I'm going to try them maybe this week or on the weekend.
Read this, Bob. Is that one of your sister?
That's my sister. Yeah, that's my sister.
Okay.
Yeah, she would. Yeah, mom would be the one I would definitely want to cook with for sure. That would be hands down. Like the other ones, like it's easy to say like Anthony Bourdain and all those guys. I like to talk to those guys just to like you and I do. Like I like to just sit and talk with them. I don't know. I'd be too intimidated to cook with a real chef. To be honest with you, heck, I'd be intimidated to cook with my mom. To be honest, because I'm so used to cooking by myself. Um,
A professional kitchen could be a really eye-opening experience for you. If you really see the intensity and how would I put it? If you haven't worked in commercial kitchens, let's put it this way: when you come on the 19th,
mhm.
I'll let you come in the kitchen and watch us for a little bit.
Awesome. I appreciate that. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, and this is I really think you will see a lot different perspective of cooking when the way it's going on right now. That night we're doing 6-course tasting menu. Virginia is back, thank God, and me and her, Chef Andrew will be there. Cody LeBlanc, one of the best mixologists. Cody will be there mixing drinks for everyone.
That's awesome.
Cody really make me hooked with the stuff he made. I have been drinking cocktail everywhere I go, but I have been disappointed in a big way. It's like, oh my God, like why people can make stuff like this? And the one Cody made is just like you will experience his stuff. Like he is hands down phenomenal. And 1 second here. All right, Bob. So one thing, we have been talking about Matt all night, so I'm going to thank Matt now. So we have a giveaway from Steel Subaru. Jeff actually put together a little package when I talked to him the other day. So if anyone who subscribed to the YouTube channels, put a comment on this episode's videos, we will be doing a live draw next week for all those Subaru goodies. And Bob told me she will be putting together a package also that will be also in the making. I will be drawing like gift certificate from my restaurant and all that. So I have a couple people already talk about like, contribute to giveaway. But, thank you, Matt. Sorry, I like to pick on you, buddy. But, I just thank you for contribute to the show. And what would you like to improve as a home cook, Bob? What would you like to improve? Like,
Holy cow. What would I like to improve?
mm-hmm.
What I want to improve, for me, my hardest thing I find is, it's one thing to walk outside the box, right? And take things outside the recipe and take it out that way. It's, for me, the struggles I find sometimes are I may find that right or figure out the right, say, protein part of the meal where I may do something with chicken or steak or fish. But I want to be better at pairing that with something so that it makes sense. You know what I mean? To me, That's probably my weakest part of my game. Is that you know,
It
I know it takes time and it's something that you're going to have to experiment with, but that's where I'm at. I want to be able to look at that and say, you know what, I'm making this X Y Z, and over there that'll go with this, and I want to put that together with that because it's gonna flow together well.
it never have to make sense, Bob. It's the matter at the end is if it tastes good. You really think Fruit Loops actually make sense?
No, they make absolutely no sense.
Exactly. Some people think blue cheese on steak doesn't make sense,
Yeah,
but I love it. I love blue cheese, right? It's never about who is better. It's about who is eating your food. To me, is competition is the most gimmicky thing in cooking. Yes, I say it because you have judges that we're all humans. We have different palate every day. We have different food we crave for every day. You go to a competition, you have to doing the right stuff at the right time with the right flavor. And that's why, like, when we're doing nationals with all those competitions, when there's 6, 7 judges sitting there, and you don't know. Like, I still believe it's a lot is luck of the draw, right? So it's about if whoever you're feeding like the food. That's all it matters.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? I always say, as a chef, my biggest satisfaction is coming out of people who appreciate what you've done. And that's one thing with me in my restaurant, chef. Like the stuff you made, I mean, I have Chef Elaine comes in and tell me like how much he liked my food. Like those are like the biggest satisfaction I get, because I have Ellie Black comes in and tell me that's some of the foods she ever tasted at my dinner. Man, she traveled the world, so you know what it's supposed to be, right? And for those people to give me those comments, it's the most satisfied feelings. It doesn't matter at the end, like, do you like it? No. It's the person that you're feeding like it. Does it have to make sense? It does not, right? I am making a deconstruct Chinese steamed fish at the tasting menu with soy sauce caviar. Does it make sense? It doesn't make sense. I am making a dumpling with lobster and shrimp with a broth made with sturgeon bone and bone marrow. Does it make sense? No, it's not by the book. But I guarantee hell, like, people's gonna love it. Because I know exactly what my favorite profile is. People ate my food know. It's all about what you represent you, not anybody. And that's one thing that I respect you a lot, because the way that you love your cooking, you do your stuff, which I do give you crap all the time. I'll be like, Bob, don't do this. Bob, don't do this. Because I promise you since day one, whatever I see, I'll be honest with you. And that's what you told me that you want. But kudos to you, sir. You are improving in a big way in the past couple months from what I can see. And no, really grateful that we can actually share your story today. Anything else you'd like to share with the audience and perhaps with your family too?
Well, first I got to make that dish we talked about with the leeks, the miso, and the cod. That is something I've got tucked away for when I can get a chance to make that. I want to try that because I think that would rock for sure.
Yep. We can talk about that dish that, like you were talking about making cod. So I sent him a few messages like, why don't you do that? Because he has some white miso that I told him to get, and it's there. I told him to use white miso to make cod, and give a really nice, distinct flavor to it, and then you can kind of serve it whichever way. Would make a Italian rosti at the bottom, and then maybe just a fried egg to have the egg yolk and like settle up, soften up the saltiness on the right miso, and then the crispy leeks. I actually told him I actually showed him a lot of my secret stuff already. So I've been challenging him to make some of my stuff. So cannot wait to see you make that dish, Bob.
Yeah, it's on my to-do list, for sure. You know, it's fun doing that. I mean, there's something about, like I said earlier on, about the cooking part and putting it all together and the satisfaction. And you mentioned about people liking it. I remember I made a chicken parm, or yeah, chicken parm, a very simple dish. Put a lot of effort into it one night, and my wife, she ate it, and I said to her, because there's a local restaurant here in town who does it, in the city, who does a great job of it. And I said, I think that would be, I could compete with them on that. And she said, no, I think yours is better. And like that's to your point about what you mentioned earlier about that's what it's all about right there.
Yep.
Is it's not that if the ego needs to feed, your ego needs to be fed from your family members. It's that, I don't know, what the gratification from someone saying that that's where you're at. That you're making things that people would that they have that reaction to, right?
Sister, have a question.
Yeah, I see that. Would you ever dip your toe? You know what? That's a great question. The baking thing, I haven't. I do. My mom as much as I gave her credit on a cook, she was an absolute amazing baker. She never did it enough. That was probably the only negative thing I could say about my mom's baking. It was just, I wish she did it more. But you know what? About the baking thing, I think I have to get into that because baking is like the cabinetry maker of carpentry in my mind. You got the detail that goes in. See, in baking, I don't think you can do what we're talking about substituting things in. You got to stick to it. But it's the finesse work in baking. I think that's what I like about the baking part of it. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but I never baked a thing in my life. But I like to learn how to make rolls and bread and stuff like that just to start off with. But she's right. I should get into a little more of the baking part of it for sure.
Well, I mean, hey, you're enjoying it, right? It's always fun to try new things, but it's part of cooking. It doesn't matter what you do. You just need to be improved, learn, and evolve, and just trust your gut's feeling. Just trust your gut's feelings and go with what you love to do. And I mean, I remember I asked you during the phone call, it's like you told me your wife would eat the pork belly, and it's like how satisfying that is, right? Like she would eat it, right? Like those are the most satisfying memories as a cook or chef, whatever you do, that last forever.
Yeah, and my oldest daughter, she started to send me recipes now. That's what I get the kick out of. She'll say, "Hey, try this. Can you make that? Can you try? What's your version of this?" And she'll send me these texts all week long, which I think is cool. Is that because they're paying attention to what I'm doing in the kitchen, and I'm hoping that spills over to them when they get out on their own, and they're taking that with them, that passion with them to cook and to provide some pretty cool meals. I'd cook for anybody, to be honest with you. I mean, we've had the staff here from the dealerships.
So when are you gonna cook for me?
Hey, are you kidding? Like, I don't know what I'd cook. Obviously, steak and blue cheese would be the only thing I'd cook for you right now, because it seems to be you'd like that. But I'd cook for you anytime.
Guys, listen to this. I might have to make a trip to Moncton.
Sure.
Because last trip was... It's kind of funny because I was at the hotel when I was in Moncton 2 weeks ago. I was talking to the lady at the reception. I was like, hey, any good restaurant that you think I should check out? she mentioned the restaurant that you said about the chicken parm. She's like, a lot of people love to go to that place.
Yeah.
Of course, I didn't say anything back to her, but I was like, yeah, well, seems like Bob was right. That was what was recommended.
Yeah.
So, well, it's, don't try to compete with anybody, right? I mean, the biggest thing right now is get better. And I can tell you right now, Matt, if you're watching, I'm routing for him next Black Box. So you beware. But I can tell you right now, Brad knows too. I already told Brad myself I'm going to show you as much as I can before the next Black Box. He knows what's coming. I hope you win the next one because that is the best feeling, man. Like when I attend National, the first year I lost, the second year I was bronze, and then I end up winning. Those are the biggest feelings in the competitions because you made it there, right? Oh, Bob, Sarah want to know what is that restaurant's name with the chicken parm that your wife said yours is better.
Oh, I don't say. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah.
I don't know if I should.
I don't care. It's unscripted.
All right. Well, in town, there's a restaurant called Gusto's they're famous for their chicken parm, and that was the benchmark. Was that to get to there?
That's what I was told at the hotel.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Hey, your wife likes yours better. So what?
Oh yeah,
It's okay.
no. Look, I mean, there's just like my kids want to go there because of the chicken parm. So
okay. Well, Sarah, next time when you go to the mountain, you know where to stop by. But hey, that's okay. It's okay to share good stuff. I mean, hey, nothing wrong with that.
I mean, and Goose's is a great restaurant.
I need to go to the one that you told me to go to the other night, man.
Until you tell me.
I don't want to talk about the experience, but it was a nightmare. 3 days at mountain, But anyway, well, thanks, Bob. Thanks for joining me tonight. I hope you have fun. I hope the ingredients enjoy the conversation about Bob's story tonight. And don't forget, if you are watching, subscribe to the YouTube channels, comment on these videos. I will put it on a name reel next week, and we'll be joining the winner for all those good stuff from Steel Subaru in Halifax. And again, thanks Matt and Jeff to helping us this. And next week, we are going to have two of my favorite influencers going to be with us next week. We actually have Kayla Shorts and Kaylin O'Neill. We'll be talking about what is coming up this summer in Nova Scotia. And they are good friend of mine who really have different content every day. They are one of those content creators that not, oh, well, I go to this place and pretty much just copy and paste. No, like they create stuff. They really create stuff. And they are really honest people and kind of a relaxed week for me next week because I don't have to do all the talking. I pretty much just bring them in and let them do their thing. I mean, I'm sure people see Kayla all the time on CTV talking about fashion trend and all that. And we'll be with the two lovely ladies next week. And we'll be also drawing the Steel Subaru giveaway tools and on our live. And so thanks, Bob. Anything else before we head off here?
Well, if you're out and you're bored and you're scrolling through Instagram, stop by Outback Band Grill and like my Instagram channel.
Well, he have some really good stuff there, guys. Hey, he have stuff I would love to eat. So everybody have a good night, and I'll see you guys next week. Thank you.